Gosh, I was talking to my man Elmo, doing a consult, and he inspired a good subject here about dying, when the physical body's dying. Consciousness doesn't die. It's impossible. How can it? It doesn't have a form. It can't die. But when it incarnates into a form, that form, by law of impermanence, that form has to die. Some forms live longer than other forms. Our energy body lasts a lot longer than this physical body. Good. We don't want a physical body to last forever. Hospitals want to try to keep you alive forever, and then some people freeze you. You can freeze your body and then hope to come back one day when they find a cure. I mean, really? See, those people need to do meditation or need to watch talk to some people who've had near-death experiences. I don't know why they call them near-death. It's death, like you're dead. The body's dead for a temporary time. And then you start to see, like, whoa, wait a minute. This physical world, it's like nothing. There's so many other planes of existence besides this world, you know. So those people that are super attached to this body and this world, you got to talk to those people or watch those videos. But then you got to have an open mind, otherwise you just won't believe them. Yeah, what to do? This is all an evolutionary journey. When we're ready to, when this knowledge inside that's in everybody, even the serial killers, they're a future saint. They haven't caught up with that yet. When that knowledge is ready to awaken, then it awakens. The rest, I don't know, it's like collateral damage for a while. Like, you just can't help somebody awaken if they don't want to awaken, you know. Hence the law of karma and reincarnation. I mean, obviously, if you just graduated from the animal kingdom and you get a human body, you're not going to awake your first life, unless maybe you got a bunch of avatars working on you and all that. But even then, it's got to be your destiny to wake up. Otherwise, you'll just run away from them. You're like, who are these crazy people? I want to go and get drunk and get high and have sex. Like, that's where it's at. So, anyway, like, we're talking about death here, right? We got to cooperate with this process. It's like when we're first born, the life force is going out. This is how it's supposed to be. It's destiny. What are we going to do? Let's make it happen. What are the goals, the ambitions, my creativity? I'm going to be the president, or I'm going to be an astronaut, or a lawyer, or a doctor, or I'm going to do all of it. I can do all of it. When we're young, it's like the life force is so strong. You just do everything you feel. And then at some point, midlife crisis hits. It don't have to be a crisis if you're already tuned, like you understand this process. But you'll feel, even then, you feel like something has switched. The life force isn't going out like it was anymore. It's actually going in. It's withdrawing from the world and from the body. Isn't it good news that we're not this body and this world's not our home? See, when you really know that, you can't get caught up in all the news and everything that's going on. Oh, it's the new pandemic, and oh, the government's going to do something to us, or, you know, we're going to get nuked by China. It's like, okay. I mean, you don't become apathetic, like, man, I don't care about nothing. No, but you just understand, like, we're in a play. We're in a play. However, the divine, this is another important thing, nothing happens against the permissive will of God. Can't be a nuclear war if there's not supposed to be one. Remember when we almost got into it with Russia some decades ago? They made that movie, The Man Who Saved the World. It's about this colonel, and tensions were high. This is when Reagan was president, and Russia had just bombed one of our commercial planes because they said we didn't radio in when we were going over their airspace, and so, you know, they didn't know. Thought we were the enemy. And then Reagan's on the news saying, I'm willing to have a nuclear war and kill my children, I'm paraphrasing, if that's what it takes to keep our freedom, because they thought, like, Russia's trying to take over America. So tensions were super high. So then Russia installs this new nuclear war system, or a system that's designed to to show when another country launches a nuke. It was a new system, and it showed America launching a nuke. So everybody in the room, they're like tripping. They're telling the colonel, we got to nuke them back now before it hits our airspace. Once it hits our airspace, we're done. We got to retaliate now. Colonel's poised, meditating. He didn't have any inner feeling to do anything, so he held fast. He's like, just wait. And then what happened? The computer shows another bomb coming. They're like, they just launched 2 bombs. Russia's saying, America just launched 2 bombs. We need to do something now. Colonel's chill. Stays in meditation. Meditation means not thinking. You're listening. You're aware of how the inner feeling is going to move you. He said, no. So then it showed on the computer the missiles hit Russia's airspace. They're bracing for they're okay. You know what's going to happen. They just disappear, and it shows it was a malfunction in the computer. Now, did that individual autonomous ego called Colonel something? He was a cool dude, by the way. After that, he was all messed up and became alcoholic and lived in some remote area apartment, and he was all, that can do something to you. Had some psychosis. And then later, America kept wanting to give him a medal or something, like, bro, you saved the whole world, like literally. He says, okay, I'm going to come and let you give that to me under 2 conditions. I want to meet Kevin Costner, and I want to meet Matt Damon. So this is a cool dude, I can relate. And America's like, yeah, okay. Gets Kevin Costner and Matt Damon to greet him when he comes. And the guy was so happy to meet these actors. And the actors were like dumbfounded. They're like, I think things are a little opposite, a little backwards here, So he's a cool guy. Do you think it was his mind that chose this whole thing? That he was he wasn't enlightened. That just chose not to launch back? No. It was the rishis or the divine intelligence that's running this whole play. It wasn't time. It wasn't in the permissive will of God to have this planet destroyed. And so it didn't happen. That's why I said in another video, if it's not destined to happen, it's not going to happen. But if it is destined to happen, you're not going to stop it. But there's an appearance of creative control, and we're doing something and not doing something and all that. It's cool. I've really deviated and a little bit, but what to do? Inner feeling saying to do it. What am I going to do? Am I going to say, mind, no, you got to stick to the subject? No, I can't roll like that. Must be that there's some people that needed to hear that. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it, because I don't have any personal agenda. So when we reach midlife crisis, let's say midlife, you can feel, if you're sensitive, that life force is starting to withdraw from everything. It's like you're going back home. If you cooperate with that process, it's a very relaxing state. It's easier to become awake, I would say, in the last half of your life than the first half. First half, there's a lot of rajas, a lot of life force. Now, of course, you still can. It depends on your sanskaras and karma and etc. So I'm just generalizing. Whenever we talk about these subjects, we got to generalize, because it's too much, Can't cover every single angle. That's why when some people try to call someone out and say, oh yeah, but what about that? Yeah, it's true too, man. It's true. I'm just talking spontaneous. So if we cooperate with that process, this whole dying process of the body is going to be much easier. And you know what happens? It's like you can tell a lot about a person's death. My dad, my grandfather, these were people that they did the best they could do, but they didn't have any kind of a spiritual practice or awareness of their true nature. They weren't interested in that, and they did some. They had some, did some things that they created some negative karma for sure. They weren't the best people, but who is? So at the end of their life, they're really suffering. Why is that? It's like the consciousness has to prepare you to leave this body for the transition. Otherwise, it'd be too messy. It just wouldn't, it's for our own higher good. If we don't have a spiritual practice or some higher devotion to truth while we're in this body, because when we do, it's purging the karma. Those on the spiritual path know this. It's not like you get on the spiritual path and everything, oh, it's so cool and easy, I'm spiritual. People may think that for a while, but life is going to shake you up at some point. When we embark on this path, we start to get purified. Okay, that's karma. That's karma dissolving. We're doing what we're supposed to do. Why we came here on the planet. This is why we're here. We're not here to, get a relationship or make a bunch of money. I mean, that's secondary. That's side stuff. What we're really here to do is transform, to build a character, a good, solid, spiritual character, and become aware of what our true nature is. This is our purpose. So when we start to embark on that process, all the negative tendencies and karma and delusion, it's going to try to hold us down. So that creates some unpleasant feelings because the karma is burning. So if you never do that, you're going to have to do it at the end of your life. Consciousness is going to make you in the form of, there's just going to be some suffering. My dad had leukemia and he just suffered the last, I don't know how many years. I was a little young, so I'm going by memory, but at least a few years was pretty bad, and the same with my grandfather. So do it now, you see. Otherwise, you do it at the end, and my friend's mom, the same thing. It's like you feel like you're leaving, but you're not ready. You're like, it's subconscious. You're holding on to existence, to life, because when we start to leave, when it's time to die, automatically, consciously or unconsciously, we start to reflect. Did I do what I was supposed to do here? Again, a lot of people, that's not conscious. It's unconscious though, and they start to get scared. It's like they don't have any time left. They wasted their life on some level. They feel that as some kind of abstract tendency. Now, if you're doing your spiritual practice, you're going to be aware of all that before you even start to die. You're just going to know this right now. You're like, I don't want to waste my life. I don't want to do it. How do you know that? Because you've done it in previous lives, probably wasted our life. You're like, I'm not going to do that again. Waste this life, man. This is, number one, it's a hard to get a birth, and number two, this shit's not easy. Being on this planet and just dealing with the ego and the mind and the desires and tendencies and the limitations of the body, this is a hell of a ship to navigate, So you don't want to like waste your time anymore. That's auspicious. Grace is with you when you're like that. So those who die in their sleep, for example, or have a clean death, they've worked a lot of karma off. And usually those people are really peaceful before they die. Those last days or weeks or months, it's like they're cooperative. Something has surrendered. They've already been surrendered previously. Somehow their ego's been dissolved to a certain degree, so that then when it's time for the body to go, there's not much of an ego left to dissolve. So it's like smooth sailing. So it's like it's nice. It's like, whoa, I'm finally at peace. Damn, did I have to wait till I was almost dead to finally be at peace? Something like that. It's like, I feel death is like the highlight of life on some level. It's a paradox. I feel a lot of people, like, the awakening process gets more complete when that opportunity's there when they're leaving the body. That last stage, because everything's cooperating in that direction. You see, like your body, your mind, everything is like in a state of a kind of a dissolution. So all you got to do is tune to that, cooperate with that, And then you merge with this surrender that's automatically taking place, and then somehow that just washes over everything, and your surrender then is deep. It's complete. You see, that's liberation. I feel like when you die, the dying process, those who have done psychedelic drugs, there you go. You're not going to have a stronger psychedelic effect than when you die. You know how much energy gets released? I mean, I've said before somewhere in some video, we got all the drugs in this brain and body and our glands, endocrine glands. I mean, we got all of them. That's why when we take certain pills or psychedelic medicines, they react, because we already have the receptors. It's like the body understands that. But when we die, all that stuff gets released, If you're intuitive, you can kind of get an intuitive feeling. Just me saying that, you can kind of have you can intuit what I'm saying. So, am I excited about dying? I mean, it's kind of exciting, isn't it? It's like being a little kid and you go up on the roller coaster. I used to go to Cedar Point in Ohio, and the Gemini, I even remember the name, Gemini Corkscrew, that's all I remember. And you get all the way to the top and you start going down, it's like, whoa, you lose your stomach. I did at that age. And I feel like a little bit like death is like that. If you're conscious during those last moments, it's like, you're leaving, man. So it helps it's nice to perceive death in that way. So it's not so scary. It's scary when we think that we're this body, because then it's like annihilation forever. Whoa, I'm never going to exist again. That's a fear a lot of people have, and you need to ask God. If you have that fear, ask God to help you with that, to show you that that's not true, if you're open to that. Some are like, well, this is totally true. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You'll find out it's not when you die, but it's nice to know that now. The other thing I want to say about death, those who are dying, I saw a video on YouTube, and I was stupid. I didn't save it. This was a few years ago. But it was about this woman. She's like 80 years old. She goes to the doctor. She's having trouble. She had some really bad spinal problem. And they want to give her another operation. She's already had a bunch. She said, no, I'm not going to go through that again. I'm not going to get, and the trauma from that. And I mean, I'm already like 85 years old. Like, why do I want to put all that trauma again in my body and then take drugs on top of that to buffer the pain? Like, how can my body handle that? Operation and hardcore drugs? Like, no, I'm good. And she went home, told her daughter, she says, it's time. I can feel it. It's time. And so she commenced to start the conscious dying process. And they videoed it. I don't know how long it lasted. 5 days, 6 days. Because when you start dry fasting, this is a conscious way to exit when it's time, when you get inner feeling, and there's no bad karma for that. It's not, you're not committing suicide. You're already done. Like, why suffer unnecessarily? Grace helps you, if you're conscious, to leave consciously. So she started dry fasting, because I've done both, water fasting and dry fasting. I've done it excessively when I was in Thailand, because I was trying to get awake through fasting, through these austere practices that just did nothing but mess my nervous system up. I mean, fasting's cool, but not excessively. But my point is this: when you take water out of the picture, that accelerates things big time. So she stopped drinking and eating. And she had a small bottle of, I don't remember what they were, some kind of painkillers that she just kept in case it got too much, and just wanted to take the edge off. Because you want to be conscious when you leave this form. You don't want to be so dulled and, so heavily medicated that you miss this transition and you miss that opportunity during that last stage, hours or days, where you can really come into the fullness of yourself if you're conscious, because like I said, everything's cooperating to make that happen. Everything's shutting down and withdrawing. Everything's surrendering. So jump on that train and surrender with it. But you can't do that if we're too drugged up. So she knew that. And her last day or two, man, she was super peaceful, because like I said, they videoed it, and it really, I mean, they should play that. They should have that on the news. Like, that should be required material to watch. The hospitals should be playing that. Of course, we know why they don't. But God finds a way to disseminate this knowledge, and gives a medium called YouTube that serves that purpose. And then law of attraction, those people find it that are supposed to. See, we don't have to worry about nothing. God's taking care of stuff. The elites, they can't suppress anything. They're not doing anything. They're actually agents of God. They're doing His work too. They're playing the what's it called when the protagonist is the good people? They're playing the antagonist part. See, but God's destiny trumps that, supersedes that. So you don't have to worry about nothing. Well, that was the video on death. Let me know how you like that. Alright, see you.